The
This is
Joycey
Joycey,
and Blake, and
and
welcome
welcome
to
to Savagely
Savagely
Scaled.
Scaled.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2025 CrossFit Games, which took part starting Friday, August 1st, and then Saturday, August 2nd, and Sunday, August 3rd. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the workouts, the winners of the workouts, and also just, everything involved, some highlights, things that we loved and enjoyed from the games. So let's
Yes.
get into it.
So, the CrossFit Games overall, I actually really enjoyed watching, and I found it easy compared to last year with finding the days. I don't know if that was the same for you, Joycey.
I agree. In terms of access, it definitely was much more improved. I felt like the workouts were much more defined and easy to kind of fast forward or go back
It was
to.
like back in the day again. Like last year, I don't know what they wanted to do last year, but last year was not,
Mm.
with it. And I feel like they've gone back to their normal showing. And I was like, yes, okay, like I'm all about change, but there's some things that we should not change. And the accessibility and the days and stuff like that, and actually putting what each workout was if you were just watching the workouts compared to what they had all over the place last year. I was like, okay, we're back to what we had. And I like this. Just keep it like this. No.
Yeah, I think so. You're right. From the very beginning, YouTube was always the access point for all of these workouts, and they kind of maintained the same thing. And I think last year was the year that they kind of wanted to go into ESPN and start doing that whole,
Mhm.
I guess, broadcasting option. And I think that just kind of made it much more difficult for people. And the fact that they didn't announce that the last few events were going to be through ESPN and we had to pay, I think that was a big factor that just led to a lot of people being very unhappy. So I'm glad that all of the workouts were free and were
Mhm.
accessible on YouTube. But like last year, there were certain instances where maybe the videography wasn't at its best. But I
Mhm.
mean, compared to last year, it was not as bad. I only saw maybe like 1 to 3 like opportunities where maybe they should have been recording other
Yeah.
athletes when they were focusing only on certain ones.
Yep.
Uh, so I saw a few of that, but compared to last year, it definitely was much more improved.
Yeah, I agree with you. They still had those where they would focus on the top people, which I get, they're on the leaderboard. They're the ones who are fighting for those points. But some of
Mhm.
these athletes were on the second day, which they call moving day, that were actually making big moves. And I was like, hey, literally, I can see in the background that that person over there, I believe there was one incident, it had Haley Adams, and Haley Adams was actually ahead of everybody, but they were so focused on the two that were fighting for points that I was like, you guys are missing out.
The action.
I was like, and she's a well-known name.
Mhm.
Like, come on. There was another one, and as I'm complaining about the announcers, but here I am, I can't remember the name. They there was another one where it was like the girl next to her completely went past and won, but you're so focused on this person because A, they're well known or they're higher up in the leaderboard. That's not right. We want these rookies, we want these others, if this is their first CrossFit game win, to be justified in that. So
Right.
there was still that. There was also one time when I was like, hey, look, that's just I think it was just like a side view, and they were talking about the workout and they had people working out, but you didn't see anybody. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's just a side view. That's the wrong camera. Whoever is in charge of hitting the buttons for cameras has it on the wrong camera.
Yep.
But those were the only things. And I mean, yes, they were less than last year. And I feel like we're always going to get that hiccup because humans are humans and
Yep.
we can only do so much. And I don't know if the announcers are, reading off of the prompt because other people are down there signaling to them. They can see what's going on in front of them, or they have the videos also in front of them so they can only see what those cameramen are showing. Things like that. Like, I don't know. They get paid the money for that. I get not paid to be a viewer and
And to
just
judge.
judge all of their stuff that they do wrong.
Also, can we, like, shout out, like, I don't know if you saw event 1 and stuck with because it was a running event, and we can jump
Oh
into that
my
after this,
gosh, yeah.
but there was a cameraman who was, like, running alongside the leaders, and I think barely was, like, a little bit ahead of them just to capture the shot, and I was like, "Man, like, we're really still in that age where we need to have, like, live cameramen running and chasing after the athletes to get the good shot." It
Oh,
was
I
just kind
didn't
of like
see that. I saw the guy on the
Yeah.
bike with the camera.
No, there was a person running, and I forgot I think it must have been, like, at the start, somewhere in the, like, beginning, but
Yeah.
Yeah, he was wearing shorts and I think like a blue shirt or something, but it was fun. And I guess speaking of like location and event one, it was in Albany, New
Mhm.
York where all of this took place. And I think there was like I don't know if they closed off the streets for that because I think the run was involving them running like in streets where I guess citizens would just walk through. And I think at some point there was a lady that was walking through it and had to kind of stop and like stand to the side while the event was going on. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if you noticed that. And I was like, "Did they put no signs saying that there was gonna be an event that day or something?" And people are just going on about their day, taking a stroll, and
Oh, yeah,
it
I
was
saw tons of people just taking strolls, and I was like, "Okay."
if
I
I was an
mean,
athlete, I'd be kinda like, "Really, dude? Really?" But
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Maybe they didn't have anybody mean saying, "Hey, ma'am, you can't walk through. Hey, ma'am, ma'am," and then there's some people who just keep walking. They're like, "I'm not listening to you today, sir."
Right.
You never know how
Man,
people act with things where they're like, "Really, today,
that's
of
true.
all days, this is my walking day, all right?
Yep.
I didn't get a notice a week in advance that y'all were coming on my walking day." There's
And I'm
those
on my
people
way
in
to
life,
brunch.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Remind me what event 1 was again.
So event 1 was called the Run, Row, Run, and it was a 4-mile run, a 3,000-meter row, and then ending it off with a 2-mile run. Ouch.
I know, and I thought it was gonna be very boring to watch, and it wasn't.
It was long for I mean, it was definitely the
It was
longest.
long, yeah. And I feel like, like comparing to last year, like the whole outside event that we had where we did lose, an important piece of the CrossFit community, Lazar Dukage, compared to this year. I don't know if you also noticed this, but how prominent the medical team was out there. And I don't know if it was just because the outfits they were wearing or because the announcers kept saying it because they had them when they started. They had him on the sidelines, and then they had him at they finished, and they kept saying, "I don't know if you could see our medical team and how important they're making sure nobody gets dehydrated and all this stuff and da 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 da." And I'm like, "Good for you guys. I'm glad that you're trying to make it more pronounced."
Right.
And I'm glad that they're out there and you guys somehow, I hope, put money into this. And these are very well versed people in those signs of dehydration and stuff. So good for you. I know that we're trying to still cover our backs from last year. You got to do what you got to do. Also, thanks for putting them in that white and red, or I think it was white and something. So then they can be very well known like, okay, that's the person I go to if there's an emergency. So that's good. But that's what I noticed that was mostly being in place. And I was like, all
Right.
right, good for you. I mean, the other thing that I noticed is what for the run, their standings were where they were for the open. So if you didn't do really good in the open, you were in the back,
Mm,
and Tia was 100.
yeah. Ouch.
But man, her takeoff,
Yeah.
I was like, "Why is she what?
It
Oh
was
my
insane.
gosh." It's like, she's with the
Insane.
guys again. And I know a couple of the
Mhm.
guys, kinda like the front leaders kinda like when she does that because they're like then all the guys, like, sprint after her because 'cause they're like, "This girl's gonna beat us." And then they kind of, like, peter off because they chased her. So I know a couple of the front leading guys were very thankful that she did that. Yeah, but it was nice because what it was Jeff
It was
Adler,
impressive.
Ricky Garrard, and Roman in the front, and I know T was in the front and Amy Kringle was behind her, but there was a point where you saw Ricky and Jeff kinda, like, pace themselves, like, they sprinted or they had that burst, and then you saw them start to pace because you had that long run, and then you have the long row, and then you have to run after. But, going into that row, I, like, had a feeling I was like, "Well, Roman's gonna kill the row." Like, he's very aggressive on the row, he's also very
He was
long.
doing really good, yeah.
Yeah, so to see him be in that group was very, very good, especially since last year's game, what, he, like, broke his ankle, and they had double unders in the last
Right.
event, and he was just, like, trying to survive, so it was really nice to see that. I know for Tia, the person behind her was, like, Amy Kringle. I know Lucy Campbell was in there, but
Yeah, she was pretty close too.
I believe it was Amy Kringle, who was, like, just a couple seconds behind her right off the row. So, Tia got on the rower first, but then she got on the rower
Barely.
second, and she was, like, barely, behind
Behind her.
her. but
Yeah,
I know Tia won that for sure for the girls, and then Jeff won it for the
that's right.
guys.
Hey, all
And
of that high rocks is paying off.
so that's what I was like, this is a high rocks competition right
It
here,
is.
right?
Yeah.
Running and
Mhm.
rowing and running, like, she had that in the back, which was really good for her. I know Jeff's cardio is very well versed as well,
Yo, can we just talk about that ending though for Jeffrey Adler and Roman?
Yeah, go
Like,
ahead.
I was rooting for Roman so hard because he was in the lead for what is it? Like, how many meters was he to finishing first? Like, it had to have
You
been,
could
like,
see the
maybe
finish line.
yeah, and then Adler was like, "I'm just gonna take it," and Roman
Boom.
didn't even, like, increase his pace, he was just like, "Go for it," and I was
He's
like,
like,
"Oh
"I
my
can't."
god."
Yeah.
I know. It
And I
was
was
I
like,
really
"Oh,
wanted
poor
him to win that.
guy."
I know he
Yeah.
had that, he coulda had that, but
But I think maybe he went too hard on the row then.
probably. Yeah, because he didn't switch his pace, he was just, like, the same, and I was like, "Oh,
Yep,
man." He didn't have anything left, but it was a good one. I love a good running workout, to start off the games and just kinda kill your legs, and
it
let's talk about the
was.
other 2 on the same day.
Well, I wanna
Let's talk
shout out
about,
really quick
okay.
Team Oslo Krieger. They also won that, but on a side note, they actually had Kristen Holta, who is one of the oldest athletes that was competing. She's 39, and she was just notified, I believe, that week because she was their alternate that she was gonna be going to the games and competing. So
What?
they won that team event as well because they also had to do run, row, run. But yeah, they kept
That's
voicing
pretty
how
baller.
she's our oldest, and I'm like, "She's 39, guys. Leave her alone." She's just a very also well-known athlete in CrossFit because she
Mm.
competed in individuals as well, but it was funny. But yeah, go on to event 2, something that I also you know what? Really quick though, I felt like I really enjoyed all these events. I loved watching all
I
of
did
them.
too.
But
Yeah,
this was also one of them that has a movement in it that I was like, "I'm never doing those." So,
you
what
think
was
it's this
event
one?
2? Yeah.
It's called All Crossed Up, and event 2 was for time, but there was a cap, a 10-minute cap, and it involved God, this is horrible, 20 wall walks,
Got it.
eh, 10 dumbbells shoulder to overhead, 70
Got it.
pounds for women, 100 pounds for men,
It might be hard, but got it.
toes to bar,
Yeah, no problem.
20 double under crossovers.
And that's where I would tag you in.
I can't even do that. I'm
I'd be
like,
like,
maybe a
"This girl,
single.
this is all you got. This is all we got.
This is
I
your
will
moment.
I will make sure I will get us there fast, but you
Okay,
do those
okay.
crossovers."
I'm like,
Because
I'm doing
I've
singles.
girl, half the time I couldn't even see their rope. I was like,
Girl,
"Is
I
there
don't even
rope there?
know.
Is there
I
rope there?"
I even, like, tried them a few times just to see what's up, and girl, like, every single time, instant smack to the butt cheek, and I was like, "Oh god, burn."
So,
Like,
I'm
no.
so glad because that's what my double under life was for years.
Oh,
Because it
no.
would, and I'd be like, "And it's a sting that lasts, it
Yes.
lingers, and I
Yes,
can't
it's a
stand
deep
it."
one.
But, like, a few years ago, they had these for, like,
They
the
did.
final event, and tons of people hated them. I think Danielle Brandon even, like, had some choice words to
Had
say,
a
like,
moment.
"F this.
Yep. Yep,
Why
and
am
hey,
I
she came
here?"
back.
She
I know, but they most
did.
a lot of them did, but I'm like, "Let me finish saying the workout, Blake."
Sorry.
I was like, I didn't even finish. And then I know it's so much. And then 10 dumbbell shoulder back to the shoulder to overhead, back to the 20 double under crossovers, and then finish it off kind of like I guess a reverse ladder, and then 30 toes to bar, 20 double under crossovers again,
Mhm.
and then 10 dumbbell shoulder to overhead. That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
So, the wall walks were just like
The
the
warm up.
buy-in. Yeah, the warm-up, which I was like, I will do those, no problem."
10 minutes though. 10
I
minutes
know,
or
but
less.
those are things that they can all do with their eyes closed. The only
That's
hiccup would
true.
be the jump rope, and the hiccup for the person for the jump rope was Colton Mertens.
Do, do.
I felt
Oh, I
so
know.
bad for him because he did, like, 1 and then it broke, and then, like, the freaking announcers were like, "Well, sometimes with these, you have to bring 2 jump rope," and I was like, "I didn't see anybody else bring a
Yes.
second jump rope, my dude.
Oh
Like, did
my
you see
gosh.
anybody?" And then you have the head judge who's out there, you know running around too, and Colton's, like, following him, and he's like, "Do I follow you? Do I do this? What do I do? Do you want me to stay here?" And then they find a rope, and I'm like, "Y'all didn't have ropes on the side either, just in case?"
Yeah.
I feel like some of these ropes, like, others brought, like, elementary school ropes, but some of these people
Which
were
was
using
interesting.
the Velites? What?
The
Who was sponsored?
velites? Is it velites?
Yeah, I think it's Velites. Jump rope, but was like, you know,
It was different.
to me, okay, and this is just me, and I get regionals. I get an affiliate. I get those having your jump ropes because nothing's sponsored at those things. But if something is
Mhm.
sponsored, to me, behind their little name tags when they go line up or their lane assigned, everybody should have an extra something, and those should be designated for them. I don't know if it should be the athlete. I feel like it should be CrossFit who has that. So then they could be like, "Yeah, you can bring your own, but we do have this one, set it up to your height, and if something happens, it will be here for you." They found a jump rope, but it wasn't designated for his height. So he kept tripping on it because I believe it was taller for him because he is one who's on a shorter stature. But I was just like,
Yeah.
"Really, guys?" Like, to be like, "Well, most, pros
People
bring
bring 2.
2 ropes." And I'm like, I get it for the smaller competitions, I do not understand it for the games,
Yeah,
right?
that
Like, that
that should
is
have been that should have
yeah.
been thought of way before. That shouldn't be on
Yeah.
the athlete.
But I do know also in this one, Justin Medeiros did try and accomplish a win, but it was Ricky who actually grabbed the event and he edged out Jay Crouch, but it was like milliseconds in
Ye
between the times. And I was like, no, Justin Medeiros, we need him to have a strong comeback.
I know. I mean, compared to previous years, though, I'll give it to Justin. Like, he's definitely showed up in these games. I feel like the previous
Yeah.
games he did, but I mean, for some reason, this year he looked like he was, I don't know if I'd say his best, but he was coming back too.
I feel like he
And
just was so much stronger, like, he looked like he was
yeah.
in the game, but you and me all know, like, the men's side was stacked,
Mhm.
because when you look at the whole weekend and where points were lying, like, there was one point, like, the end of day 2 going into day 3, like, it was 10 points, could change anything, so it was
Right.
very, very stacked, but I know, like, for the women, like, no surprise, Tia did take that event for the win for that one, which was,
Yeah.
which was good. She's
Amazing. I mean,
yeah, she's strong in all that stuff, so it should have been her. And it was also Team Oslo Krieger who won that, which they were the
well,
only team that actually finished their version that was called the Conga line event
love it.
for their event too.
So festive. I think this is also the point when I started realizing, like, man, nobody can stop Tia. Like, she's gonna sweep it again.
That's
And
what I thought too.
yeah, I was just like, this is insane. This woman is literally unstoppable. But also kudos to her for being able to do, I don't know how she does it. I really don't. Like, she's been focusing on high rocks for a lot of it, and then she just comes in and sweeps. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm very impressed.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. No words. Mouth to the floor every time. But let's jump into event 3, shall we?
Yeah.
Which was like the final event for the first official day of the games.
Mhm.
Event 3 was very fun to watch. It was definitely a different one, and it was a struggle bus for a lot of them, but let's
Yeah.
jump in. It was a 4, 3, 2, 1 reps for time of the pegboard, which I wish I had more details on how tall it was, but it was pretty up there.
Yeah.
And then a squat clean and a front squat. And for the women, it was ascending, both women and men. And I think it started with the 145 for women, 235 for men. And then
Mhm.
it went up 20 pounds every next round. So 165, 185, 205 for women. And then again, men, 235. They went up by like, I think more, 235, 265, then 285, then 305. So
Yeah,
that's a
the
lot of
men
weight.
usually do. Yeah, I mean, no matter what, like, the women's weight was heavy too,
Yeah, that's
but yeah, the
insane.
men always go to, like, insane weights. Like, okay.
Girl, those are some heavy squat cleans.
It very much, and I'm glad that they had to specify, like, what kinda cleans it was.
Mhm.
But pegboard was also something that was in the games quite a few years ago when
Yeah.
I started watching CrossFit, and so many athletes couldn't even complete it. Like, you thought the
Yeah,
crossovers
I
were
think it was like
bad,
just
the pegboard was bad for
mhm.
so many people. Now, I did see, like, quite a few athletes fall, and I know Ricky Garard
Yeah,
did comment at the very end when they told him what place he got for the finals, that he was saying that lane 5 something was going on with lane 5, like, he was in lane 5, I don't know if Tia
you're
was or
right.
and he commented on it, I can't find anything about it,
Me
which
either.
is very sad. So I don't know if something happened because there was just it was such a fun event, and that's why I said, like,
It
even
was.
day 1, I was so excited to watch day 2 because I enjoyed these events. But I know that it was who Brooke Wells took a big fall. I know Brooke Wells took a big fall off of it, and just a side note, like, she had announced that she was retiring, and that was her last CrossFit Games, and
Games.
she had done what, like that was her 10th game, which was nice. There was a couple 10th game. I know she was one, Koski was another one, and I can't remember the third one, but they had all had 10th games.
Hmm.
But I know, Jason Hopper won this one, and the ladies, the Fee Sagafi, I've been watching her since
I
she was
love
on
her.
the scene, like, she is
I
another
don't
one
know.
that I was like I've been watching her compete for the years that she started, and she just looked like this was her workout, so calm, so ready to put up the fight, and her cleans. Girlfriend, she's not like a bigger girl, so for her to be putting up those weights and moving so well, I was like, "You go." Like, that was amazing.
Damn. Yeah, honestly, I didn't know much about her, honestly, until these games, and I was just like, "Who is this person? How is she so adorable?" And in her interview, she's just
She's
so
so
sweet and very just
sweet.
humble and very,
Mhm.
like, just, appreciative, and I'm just like, she is adorable. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for her a little bit more.
She's
Love
amazing.
her.
She
Love her.
is, like, on one of the I wanna say the older because, I mean, you guys, like, these people are coming out of teens. They're, like, in their 20s. I think she's closer to 30. So
Yeah.
it to see her and to see her grow in her lifting and her I don't know, her capability has just been amazing. Like, she was on fire this season, and it's so nice to see her that way. But, I mean, Tia won 2 events, but here she did not win.
Yeah,
She didn't
that's a
win
good
this
point.
event, and I think, wasn't this the event where they put her daughter up on the jumbo screen and she was like,
I think it might
"Mama," and
have.
I was like,
I
"Oh,
love that.
no." It was
It
so
made me
cute.
cry. It made
Yes,
me
it was
cry. It
so
was
cute,
so
and she was
cute.
clapping for her, but she also had a couple hiccups on the pegboard
Oh.
and
Oh my God, I'm
fell.
thinking about it. Yeah, she
Yeah,
had to at some point, like, she wasn't using her feet anymore, and she was literally just
yeah,
hanging off, and I was like, "Something's wrong." Like, either she's just tapped out or I don't know, but she was struggling, but she made it work. But,
yeah.
oh, man, tough stuff.
It was tough. It was tough seeing that happen. I know, like, the, mat that they were on, like, a lot of people think it's a springboard, and it's not, it just sucks all your movement in. So a couple of the women, because of the height, like, they couldn't reach all the way, they had to be at the bottom. But just seeing, like, people fall and like I had said, like, Tia fell, Brooke Wells fell, which is sad because, like, I have seen her weaknesses in the past games. I've seen her at regionals, like, she did teens, like, she grew, and I think her best year was actually the year that she had that incident with her elbow.
Mm,
So, I'm sad to see that she is retiring, but I know Sydney is not. Sydney will be coming back for next season, but I that's why I was like, I should rewatch it and should have seen, like, who was in each lane, and if that was the lane that kept having mishaps.
right.
But it was also that actually Lydia Fish also finished before Tia Toomey. And she's actually a games rookie. And I don't know if you saw she was known for 2024 in the North America East semifinals for Toomey cheering her on in the squat snatch event because she
Mm,
actually was lifting heavier than her maxes and that, and Tia was cheering her on. If not, if you don't know her from that, watching these games, she was known as, the fish bowl with all of her family members wearing those fish head hats. And being
That's
there because
right.
yeah, so
I love those.
she had a really good games for her rookie year. There was a couple of people that had really good games for their rookie games this season. More on the women's side than I feel on the men's because the men's were just so stacked with
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was fun.
the top people, but I know, like, leading into it, the end was what? Jason Hopper was in the lead, then it went Jay Crouch, Roman Krennikov, Ricky Garrard, and Justin Medeiros. For the women, ending day 1 was Tia Toomey, Lydia Fish, Lucy Campbell, Madeline Sturt, and Amy Kringle. So that was who was in your top 5 for day 1.
Another stacked group of women up there.
It was because I know they put Madeline, but she's known as Maddie Sturt. She's trains with Tia. So
That's right.
she's is also a fellow Aussie and she's been on the scene too for a while that I've been watching her in upcoming and a teens and very good. This year looked really good for her as well. It's just hard because
Yeah.
you also have newcomers coming in
That's what I was
that
gonna
are really,
say.
really good.
I was just thinking, I'm like, this is the year where we see the newcomers kind of, shining and coming into play. Like all these
Yeah.
years, and then this is where we're starting to see, like, yes, we still have our top names still at the top, but now it's like we're learning new people's faces, and it's like it's beautiful. It's great to see, the teens moving up, but it's also like,
Mhm.
oh man, like a lot of our old ones are retiring. I mean, Annie, Katrin, Brooke, and
Yeah.
it's just it's a little too real for me. I don't know. I have
Did you
a bit of mixed feelings.
Do you see though, Annie just announced baby number 3?
Baby number 3?
Yes, they just did an announcement I saw on Instagram today.
Wait, does Annie have 2 kids already?
Mhm.
Why did I think she only
She
had 1?
she has a daughter and a son.
Wow, go Annie.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
and
building
Catra's
their little
pretty
life.
pretty in her pregnancy life right now too.
Yeah, so we have Annie who's pregnant, Katrin, and Bethany. Oh, which
Wow.
is side note, Bethany was one of the announcers for, like, the heats. I don't wanna say the not well-known heats, but she wasn't the announcer for the final heats. She did amazing.
Okay.
And sometimes they would ask her, and Alex Gazan was one of them, and she was that one of the announcers asked, like, "Oh, I wonder how, like, retirement life is and stuff like that," and she goes,
Mm,
"Well, I don't know, I'm not retired." And I was like, "You tell them, girl. You tell them."
that's right. Skadoosh.
So
I love that.
hearing them and hearing their side, I know one of the Panchik brothers also was there, one of the twins, and he was commentating. I really love some of these pro athletes coming to commentate on stuff because I feel like they're training that all the time. Some of these announcers are just I don't want to say they're like me and you where they just work out, but the pro athletes that they were getting, they live that. Alex won something and was heading to the games. Bethany was training. The Panchik brothers are training as well. Like they're in the thick of it. So it's really nice to hear their take on the games and these workouts and what their insight is of how would you attack this, you know? So it was really fun to hear.
Man. All right, let's jump into what are we?
Day
Day
number
2 of the CrossFit Games. All right, we're looking
yes.
at event
Event
number 4.
4.
This one
Mhm.
I don't think it was called Albany Grip Trip, and it was
Yeah.
5 rounds for time, with a 400-meter run, 12 deadlifts. I think for women it was 220, and then for men 350, and then a 100-foot handstand walk. But on the 5th round, it was a 150-foot
Mhm.
handstand walk. So, ooh,
Yeah, and
that's
was it a
pretty.
with like an axle bar? It was with a thicker bar.
That's right. That's rough.
Yeah,
On the
cuz
legs, on the hammies.
my gosh, like it was cuz that was with an assault runner too, right?
That's right.
Yeah, girl,
I
like, I
forgot it.
was
You're
like,
right.
"Ha!" That
Have
was
you
rough.
have you tried an assault runner?
I had you know what? No, I haven't. I've seen you try an assault runner.
I know I had to,
And
and I
I
had the
went,
chance. I
"Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I'm like,
No,
"How
no,
does
no,
this
no."
work? Why isn't it starting?"
I was like, Imma let the runner run on the assault runner. If
And you're
I
like, "You
have
have
a
to start
chance."
running on it." And I
Yep.
was like, "Oh," but it's so scary, like, it was kinda hard to keep control. It almost felt like
Yeah,
a
because
skateboard where
you're
you're like, "Ah!"
yeah, because I saw you were like, "It's going faster." And I was like, "You're controlling it."
I'm like, "How do I make it go slower?"
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna go on that. That does not look like a fun time for Blake."
I would've paid to watch that. Next time we're gonna
Um,
have to try it.
yeah,
That's
next
so
time and
funny.
You can video it, and it's gonna be a boosh. Blake just fell.
Our intern will video it.
Yes, our intern.
I'm like, Emily could catch the shot for us.
You know what? This was,
She's become very, very well versed with video taking.
she has. She's been very good at it, and I really enjoy that she does it for us.
I know,
But
she's so sweet.
Um, with this yeah, this was one that I was like, I mean, I like it, but, like, day 1, this is just Blake and her imaginary games day. Like, I was like, "I would love to do all those," except for the crossover double
That
unders.
one.
This one, I was like, "I don't know if I wanna do any of this. This just seems so hard."
Yeah,
And
I
I
can't
was
even do it.
felt for all of them because it was so rough. Like,
Mhm.
no.
You know, I also thought Danny was gonna kill this. I thought Danielle Brandon, like, this was gonna be her thing because obviously the handstand walks, but
Yeah.
she's not a bad runner either. And I didn't
Yeah.
see her stand out in this one or the first event, which I thought she was gonna do okay in as well.
I think this one, the deadlifts got a lot of
So
people.
yeah. Mhm. That
Like,
was the key factor there,
it
for
was
sure.
it was a crazy one. I know Lucy Campbell did really good in it.
Yeah, she got
Um,
first.
she got first, and it was a big surprise because, she was told by many doctors because she had broken her wrist in a bad place and had
Ooh,
surgery
that's
on it,
right.
that she was told that she's not gonna be able to go to compete in CrossFit anymore, let
Mhm.
alone do these kinda things. So for her to win this event was amazing, and I know it did give her, like, a really good boost because she got to wear the leader's jersey after this for a quick second.
That is always nice.
Yeah. Now for the men, I was so surprised because it was Jay Crouch who won this.
That's right.
Though he's been working out too. He's been doing very well in his off season this year, and in the open and with everything else he's been doing very well. So it was awesome to watch him win. I believe it was his very first ever win at a CrossFit Games event. So
I
that
was
was
like
good for him
yeah.
too.
He's definitely I felt like he was one of the, like, obscure athletes that just popped out of nowhere, and you were like, "Oh my god, who is this person?" And he was, I guess, one of the what would you say? One of the people that stood out in the games for sure, I
Yeah,
would
I was
say,
hoping
in
actually
more
that
than one event.
he was going to win or be in top 3. Like, I was hoping for that because
Mhm.
he's one of the names that I have known for the past couple of years. I believe he's an Aussie too, because you know how I follow that because I was Cara Webb, loved her, Con Porter, adore him, Maddie Sturt, really enjoy her as well. So I really like
He's
the
Australian,
yeah,
yes.
I really love the Australian workload that these people put into things and how they build.
Mhm.
So I just get fascinated with them. And he was in the Open this year. He did very well in the Open. There was a live event that he was in and he did very good in. So I
Mhm.
wanted to see what he was capable of. And he actually did like that one to watch him. I was like, keep going, keep going. Cause I believe Ricky was on his tail in that one as well, and I was like,
Yep.
"No," because I really am not a fan of Ricky Garard, but
I
that's
know, I
just
don't know
me.
why. And I don't know if it's because of everything that happened in the past where he was suspended
Yeah,
for a few
I'm
years
just
because of using
jaded.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what it is, but I'm also like, well, he did bust his butt and came back and,
Mhm.
now he's doing it clean and he's doing it the right way, and so part of me is, like, wanting to be kind of under but I don't know why I still have that bad taste in my mouth about everything.
Yeah, but I would if there's something going on with lane 5 with that pegboard, I would be right in your backup, Ricky. I'd be like, "Yeah, you tell them, Ricky. Tell them.
They'll be like,
I
"Hold up,
got your back."
you were just saying how you don't like me, so
Yeah,
I'm
but it
confused."
should still be fair, right? I only don't like you when it's fair, and if you're being unfair, right? If somebody's being unfair to you, I can't hate on that. I want everybody to be on the same playing field for me to judge you.
That's
I can't
hilarious.
judge you if people aren't treating you right.
Oh, man, that's I can't
I
miss
don't
you if you
know.
cannot leave.
Yeah. Bye,
If you know,
Ricky.
you know. If you know, you know.
That reminded me of
Man.
Phoebe when Phoebe was like, "Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday, but no, I'm not." What? It's like, are
Wait,
you
hold
gonna
on,
be
so
there? It was for Saturday workout when you're like, Yeah, "I can't miss you unless you leave." Yeah, I was like, "Okay, so you're coming Saturday?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm coming Saturday, but I probably won't." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, "Oh, I have to do this, so I probably won't, so I'm not gonna see you." Girl, I saw her on Saturday.
That is so funny. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
but
Oh, that made me
anyways,
smile.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
good.
oh, man. That was good, yeah. Ooh, let's talk about event number 5. This one was very fun to watch. This was, of
Yeah.
course, the weightlifting event. It was a 1 rep max for a back squat. A back squat, how fucking fantastic, right? Like, that's always a everyone loves doing a good
Oh,
squat.
yeah.
And, but yeah, it was fun to see. I think, like, we saw a lot of people I think did you see the whole Danny Brandon situation that happened where she, like, went for her first lift, totally
Yes,
flopped, and
yes.
then had to go down and wait, and she was able to get back too, but she was not happy about that, and I was like, "Girl, what are you doing? What are
Yeah,
you doing?"
I don't know, like so she's another one that I'm just waiting for her to reach her potential. Like,
Yeah,
that was kinda like watching Brooke Wells for many years. I was like, "Okay, when are you gonna push?" Now again, I am a viewer. I don't train with
right.
them. I don't know what's going on. But there are those athletes where you're like, they just give a little more in that sense. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Danielle Brandon. And I don't think, because you said the handstand walk, she
Mhm.
does great for those obstacle course ones, and I don't think Dave is gonna give her any more chances with just obstacle course handstand stuff.
Yeah.
And pushing some of these athletes to be like, "Hey, I need you to train in this uncomfortability, and you're not doing it." I don't know her day to day, but she's one that I'm like, I want her to be, in top 3. I do. I think she can do it. It's just a matter of
Mhm.
time of when is she gonna see herself do that,
Yep.
Because it is. I was like, "Bro, like, yeah, I thought her back squats were gonna be way heavier too." But also
Yeah,
I
dude,
don't
I
we don't know what she's been training in. Some of these people just, they're like, "Okay, I got strengths, but I need this part." "I got this part, but I need strength." It's sometimes they focus on certain things, and then when it gets to the games and the events, they're like, "All right, none of that is my jam because I wasn't working on that."
yep. It was yeah, definitely the same share feelings, but the one that stood out the most for me and that I was just beaming for was Colton, who was
Oh,
just I
yeah.
mean, way to, like, root for the short guy because, us short athletes, we always have a certain,
Mhm.
je ne sais quoi about, like, certain workouts because of our stature, but he made that look absolutely flawless, and I was just like, "Look at how easy," and, he just does it to perfection, and he
Yeah.
didn't even look like he was, struggling that much, but
No,
he
because
was one of the people that I was very happy for.
he hit 555 with ease.
That's
So that
insane.
570 was just like a perfect, like a cherry on top of the whipped cream for him.
Mhm.
And it's nice to see since he was having first the first day. And I know when
With
they
the
even
jump rope and
interviewed him, yeah, they were like asking him how he was doing, and he's like, "Yeah, my first day sucked." And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, running row run, not our forte at
Yep.
all. Look, you got pegboard, which sometimes does not help the shorter athlete either.
Mhm.
You have a lot of things that do not help a lot of us shorter athletes. So I know the deadlift one, he did a little bit better, but again, that assault runner. You get back on
Yep.
the assault runner and you're not one of the runners. And you
Yeah.
kind of have to be. Like lifting only gets you so far. And for this, it did bump him up in points. It's the reverse thing of Danielle Brandon, where it didn't really help her in points. And you kind of want on day 2 to get your points because that is called moving day. That leaderboard shuffles dramatically on moving day if you are going to put in that time and effort on day 2. So with him, he won that event, and I know Miriam von Rohr also did amazing, and she lifted 340 on her second lift, but ended it with 360 pounds for her
Ooh.
final lift.
Ouch.
That just watching everybody. It was fun to watch everybody.
Mhm.
Watching the final group go was awesome too. No, did they touch anywhere where Colton Mertens hit?
Yeah,
No.
no way.
But seeing that they were also all trying to beat one another in that, and it's a numbers game sometimes. If you're
Mhm.
close to each other, that is a numbers game, or it is, how can I stay alive with my points? I
I
need to
always
hit
forget
everything.
how technical CrossFit is when it comes to points, and how really just because you win first for like the first 3 events means nothing when it comes to like the overall finish. And it's just crazy how all of those factors come into play. So it's never like it's a it's a wash. Like we're completely done. Like they're gonna win
Mhm.
because they won the first 3. It's like you just never know, and that's what I love about CrossFit.
Yeah, because I mean, Jeffrey Adler won that first event. Did we see him anywhere else?
Dude, for real,
No.
that was another thing that I was like, what happened to Jeffrey? Like I mean, he still did relatively well, but he wasn't a standout at this
Yeah.
year's games, that's for sure. But
Yeah. Yes.
all right. So for the final, I guess, workout, which is kind of broken up into two, of day 2 was what they called, I think it was throttle up, which
Mhm.
involved a 4 time, and it was a 35 calorie ski erg, 28 chest to bar pull ups, 24 burpee box jumps, of course, while wearing a 16-pound vest for women and a 22-pound vest for men. Of course, women had the 20-inch box, men 24-inch. And then 7 minutes later, they would jump into what was considered event 7, which was hammer down. And that involved a
Yeah.
35 calorie C2 bike, a 28 bar muscle ups, and then 24 burpee box jump overs. And yeah, that was,
That was actually, and I keep saying this, but
yeah, that's rough.
these events were rough, but were so fun to watch. Like, and then the times were so, like, each heat got less and less and less, as it should, right? Because each heat you're getting
Hmm.
more and more into the ones who are the pros. And I don't want to say pros, but the ones who've been doing it for a while, who know the game, all these things. So by heat 3, they are, the top of the leaderboard. What was surprising to me was how gung ho James Sprague, went. And he was last year's winner. And he also was,
Hmm.
I believe it was him and Tudor Magna. Now, when Tudor and him came on the individuals scene, I remember watching them when they bumped up to individuals because they bumped up from teens and they had both been winners in those sections. And James just hit everything out of the water. Tudor has grown in so many things, and you can see where he's more of the muscle than James is, but James knows his body's capability. And he knew in this one
Hmm.
that he was going to be able to just go gung ho, which he did. He did it in 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So it was crazy how fast he went. And I know Ariel Lowen, she took the win for Throttle Up, beating Tia in a fierce race. Her time was 3 minutes and 52 seconds. She
Wow.
pushed, which did help her get into the standings. But I also was kind of like, when I heard the announcer talk to her, I believe it was day 3, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, I don't really pay attention to the leaderboards. I don't know where I'm at. So until you told me." And I was like, "Girl, what? You need to know. You need to know how hard you need to push." But I guess some people thrive in different areas. If I'm in top 5, I want to know what I got to do to stay in top 5. Now, if I'm
Yep,
29 out of 30, yes, I really don't care. I'm there to learn and be the 29th fittest person in the world,
that's right.
So, and then hammer down because they only had a short break in between the two, huh?
That's nuts. Yeah, it was 7 minutes.
Yeah. And so I know James did not take that win for event 7. It was
No,
Ricky. Ricky took
that's
that
right.
following his second place finish in event 6. So he got second in Throttle Up, but ended up getting first in Hammer Down. And then it was Lucy
Hmm.
Campbell who earned her second victory of the day
That's
for
right.
that one. And she completed the event in 5 minutes and 9 seconds and strengthened
Killing
her
it.
hold. I know, but like how we said, like, yeah, Tia's got it. Tia's got it. And I felt like this for Justin. Did Justin have any event wins really in the first day?
There's only
No, but you
one.
just
Oh,
just
no.
saw him he got a 2nd place, I believe. You just saw him, like, his face and how he was, like, zoning in, and I was like, "Okay, this is his year again." And I felt
Mhm.
like that was how it was for Tia, but I was expecting her to win more. I kinda wanted her to be like Matt Frazier and just take everything. And, I
Mhm.
mean, her points weren't as close as the men's points were, but at the same time, I was like, "Come on, Tia, go a little bit more."
I
Like, where
know.
is
Need
she?
a little more aggressiveness.
Yeah, so
And
I
I don't know if
know.
it's because, she has all the other stuff going on behind the scenes with the
Yeah,
high rocks and all of that. Because
yeah.
again, I think you brought it up pretty much earlier on that she had people throughout the games that were kind of serving as pacers for her. I think in
Mhm.
event 1, she had a gentleman, and I forgot his name, so I apologize, but he was helping her throughout her run so she can stay on pace, and I remember the announcer had said something like, "Oh, they trained together," and all of
I think
this.
it
I was
was
like, "Huh,
Jay. It was either Jay or
yeah."
Jeffrey too, because I know she said no, that was when they finished. Jeff Adler and her had talked about it, how she makes the men want to sprint, and it's nice that she does that, so then they peter off. Believe it was Jay Crouch that was pacing with her because they
I think you might be right.
I think. I'm not
It sounds
100%
familiar.
sure, but I think it was because Maddie Stir also, um
Trains with
does
her?
trains with them and are proven partners and things like
I
that.
see.
So I believe that it could have been
Yeah.
Jay who did it. And seeing how like she did have somebody to pace with her, and I know that it was her last year and all these things, I just like I pictured her more as a Matt Frazier and just blowing everybody out of the water.
Demolish.
Yeah. But like you said, like you reminded me, like she was doing high rocks, she's doing a lot of things, had a lot of sicknesses, has been traveling for a lot of things as well. But I kind of was like, is she going to get this year, her last year? Is she going to win? Because I
Mm.
know the leaderboard with them, she was still on top, but then you had Lucy Campbell, Ariel Lowen, Miriam Von Raar, and Amy Kringle for the top 5 for the women. But it was Jason Hopper who finished out the 2nd day. Yeah. Jason Hopper, Ricky Garrard, James Sprague finally jumped up. Jay Crouch was still in it. But then for 5th was Dallin Pepper. So like the men's kept moving up and down. And I think by day
The last day.
2, yeah, by day 2, though, they were, like, only 10 points separate the top 1st and 5th, like, it was
Love
if
it.
somebody just blows out of the water on the 3rd day, they're gonna mix up that for Jason. So,
You gotta love it though
it's
when it's
fun.
that close.
It was nice. Now for the women, like, Tia did have somewhat of a buffer, um,
Mhm.
but it wasn't as big as I thought it would be, you know?
Yeah. But I'm
But
like, I thought it was interesting how you were like, "Yeah, where is Tia?" And then all of a sudden day 3 comes in and boom, there's
boom.
Tia. Well, yeah. I was like, "Oh, man." She's like, "What were you saying, Blake?"
Yeah,
Boom, here
what?
I am. Just came out from down under. But, I know all the Australians coming out and kicking butt, huh? But
They
let's talk
are.
about day 3, the final day of the games, August 3rd. So to start off the day, we were on event number 8. This one was called Going Dark. And it started off with a nice 40-calorie echo bike for women, 50 for men, a 100-foot yoke carry, 30
Mhm.
deficit handstand push-ups, which looked rough, a 100-foot yoke carry once more, and then finishing it off again with the 50-40 calorie echo bike.
That was another one that
Yeah.
was fun to watch that I was like, "Okay, here comes some really good ones." And I know Austin Hatfield showed up for that one. He was like, "Yeah, I'm tackling this." His 30 deficit handstand push-ups. He stayed assured that he didn't push too hard on the Echo bike, and he finished in 8 minutes and 16 seconds, and that was a highlight for him and how he paced it. I know the biggest thing were for those deficits, like, when I was watching it, like, Rick
Yes.
Wells got no rep on quite a few, a couple of the men did too, because their feet were coming out too wide or their hips weren't fully extended, so it was a good one, but yes, Tia did blow it out of the water because she does the men's deficit when she practices. She doesn't even do the women's deficit like a lot of them do, like some and that's also a Tia thing, and I think that was a Matt thing. Like Matt would train like, okay, if the weight for normal RX is one. I'm going to do 165 or 175. Tia does this in training too. Oh, that's the women's deficit. I'm going to do the men's deficit. Like, I will get stronger in this movement and be more effortless in it if I train this way. So it was really awesome to see. And also, like, to hear, like, oh, no, that's because I just do the men's deficit. And that's why she won that
Mhm.
event.
She was yeah, she was killing it. She made it look so easy, so smooth. Form was great. I was just like, "Wow." But that, I agree, was the most painful thing to look at. I was just thinking like, "Ouch, ouch, ouch, ouch,
Yeah.
ouch." Like, ooh, like, 'cause I mean, nobody I mean, it was pretty hard in terms of, like, you had to break plane. Like, it was
Yeah.
just gosh,
And
just
I think
thinking about
that's
it is like
where Olivia Kersetter was starting to show up too as well. Like saying, "I'm
mhm.
here, remember me," because she was another teen a couple years ago that we were like, "Okay, she's gonna get this, she's gonna win this." And I remember the one where, when they had the, "Okay, we're gonna do 30, and then we're gonna break you off to 20, and then it's only the last 10 who get to do the finals." And I remember she got cut, and it was very hard to see, and it was like, "Man, like, what happened to her?" And I feel like sometimes with everything with our society and all kinds of stuff, we hype up these young kids or we hype up these pro athletes. And then when they fail in front of us, it's hard to see when we put that much pressure on them. And we forget that these people, especially the kids coming up, like they still have college, they still have high school, they have all these life things that they have to do. They cannot just stay and work out all day. Like they also need to see what they want to do for their lives, and that's going to school and putting in the work. There's a couple people who, have full-time jobs, but it's very hard for them to be these pro athletes and full-time jobs. So it was nice to see again these rookies or these people, these athletes come up that in past years we were like, "Oh, there they are." So,
Yep. It's definitely yeah, it was definitely one of the fun ones to watch. I'm with you. It was, rough. One day, I'll get just one handstand push-up. Kipping one I'll take.
you
But
will. You
yeah, I'm
will.
trying, I'm trying. Alright, event 9. This one was called Running Isabel, so if you know Isabel, it is a 5 rounds for time. This one's gonna be a 200-foot run. What was it right? Yeah. And then
Yeah.
6 snatches. For women, it was at 105 pounds, and for men, it was at 55 pounds, I believe?
Mhm.
Yeah, so ugh. I love a good snatch, though. I know a lot of people are against snatches and are very, not big fans, but it's such a
Yeah.
beautiful lift to see, and in such a, like, sprint-like fashion. It was a very fun one for sure.
It
I like me a
was,
good sprint
like,
workout.
they've done heavy Isabel, they've done all kinds of things with some of these benchmark, workouts, so a running one was really fun to watch, and I was like, "This 200-meter run would make me so tired, I wouldn't wanna lift anything." Hatfield, who had just won event 8, came out and won event 9 as well. So he was
Girl.
working his way up this leaderboard. He was using the third day as a moving day. Whereas Jason Hopper, the overall leader, he had failed and no repped a few of those
Mhm.
snatches at the end and people were
It was
coming
so
in.
painful to watch.
It
Yeah.
was because I was like, but at the same time, I was like, Dallin Pepper is coming in because he's another
Mhm.
one that has grown too, and I know him and Jason play off of each other. They both had the blonde hair, taking pictures, like those
Yeah.
weird 90 pictures or whatnot
I
together.
love it.
But to see him, it reminds me of James Sprigg and Tudor Magna. Dallin and Jason have that similar relationship, and I feel like Dallin deserves his time on the podium as well. So I believe he did really good. But when the announcers are like, okay, well, if you get 3 people ahead of you, and then you have to worry about sometimes those heat 1 and 2, even though they're in 1 and 2, you're still trying not to let any of those people get in between you because then you're dropping in points and those people are receiving those points. So seeing him, I was like, no, no, what's happening? But like you reminded me, Tia did show up on that third day. She finally showed up. I was so happy that she showed up.
Mhm.
And she did claim another victory in that running Isabel event because it was you. So you had that run where do you sprint that run and how are your snatches going to look? And what is that going to be like for you? And sometimes there was a couple of those heats where those people would just outrun and be the first runners, but they weren't the ones who were winning, because it's hard to hold on to that sprinting run and those snatches. And that's where no reps could come into play. So I felt like she was
Yep.
very like, nope,
Conscious about it.
yep, this is where I'm at. I know where I can run. I know what I can lift and do that. And very not in her head, which was good to see. It looked like in day 3 that Tia was actually Tia. So it was good. I felt it was good for her.
Yeah, she
It's good.
was yeah, this was her day for sure. It was like you said, it's kind of interesting to see how all athletes perform in the last and final day because they know that it's cutthroat and it's the last chance they have to get any points. So you know that
Mhm.
everyone's like on the edge of their seat wanting to just get as much as they can. And
Yeah.
like you said, Tia just looked like relaxed at that point. Like, I got this. Like, I know I can make this happen. And it was impressive to just see her come in and sweep,
Yeah.
but not again, not surprising. But let's jump into the last event, event 10. This one was called Atlas, and it was for time as well. And this was a ladder of 9, 15, 21 thrusters, and then 3, 5, 7 rope climbs. And I think it was a 100-foot overhead walking lunge
Yes,
at
it
95
was.
pounds for women and 135 for men.
I
The
know, I was
lunge
like, that
dough.
is so drastic, and it was
Mhm.
with the
And
barbell,
thrusters.
right?
Girl, that's
And
all
it
of
was
it. All
going
of it
up.
sounds gross. All of it.
It was going up. Y'all
Mhm.
know, like, if you've stuck with CrossFit, we don't usually do that. We usually do 21, 15, 9. Like, we go down.
Mhm.
There have been ones where we have ascended, and I know a lot of people who don't show up those days, just like on running days. They're like,
Oh,
"What?
that's
Come
funny.
again?" Or they're like, "We read that wrong." I know you sure did not.
That's
But yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, but it was like, "Hey, who's going to hold on to what?" Right? Who's going to break where?
Mhm.
But we all know, and I know it was the last workout, and I was like, man, he showed up here. Justin Medeiros holds on to weight overhead with lunges. Like, he's like, okay, that's
Mhm.
my finish line. I'm going to get to it. And he sure did. He completed that final event faster than anyone else. He was holding on for dear life. And he was keeping up. Like, the thrusters is where we saw a lot of people, like, kind of hold on, and it was big groups going to that bar. Those rope climbs were kind of iffy for some. Again, they had those not springboards. They kinda, like, suction you in. They don't really help you jump up to the rope. They're the mat that if you fall, you're not gonna hurt yourself as bad. But it was nice to see him get to that lunge, and he just took it for all it had. I know James
Executed.
Sprigg, yeah, was really close behind for 2nd place. The gap between the 2 athletes was only 0.48 seconds, between the
Wow.
2. Yeah, and then Jason Hopper, I mean, I was like, "Jason, you can't let anything go. You can't let anybody else get in between you," because Ricky was so close in points, right? But
Ugh, Ricky.
Ricky did not pass him. Jason got his points that he needed to claim that
Oh,
title. It was fun to watch. I know Dallin Pepper got in there. There were so many that in that last event that got in, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, where the
I
points
know.
are
And Blake
gonna
was like,
gonna
"Ha
lie."
ha, Ricky Gerard. Ha." That
But
is funny.
I felt for him too, because
Lies.
there are parts where I'm like, "Man, like, he's really good at these events, and all these people are really good. It's who's gonna be just a little bit better," right?
Who's
Because
gonna
there's
be the
always.
fittest on
Yeah,
earth?
and this is why I was like, "Ariel, you cannot say that you have not looked at the leaderboard all weekend. What is going on? You need to push yourself," which it was very sad because I know that I didn't really see her. Just like Haley Adams. I don't think this was the games for Haley Adams. Haley Adams did really good.
Yeah.
I thought that she did good at the handstand walk one because she
Mm,
had come in before a couple people on that one. I could have sworn she did
that's
really
right.
good at, and they didn't capture that. And she did really good for her backside. She's not a heavy lifter, but she
She's
did
not.
really good. Like, there's quite a few events
Compared
that
to
I was
last year,
like,
yeah, she looked like she
yeah,
she was definitely working
yeah,
hard, and she came in and you can tell she was like you said, she wasn't the best, but she was at least like she was hanging on for most of the
Yeah.
workouts, and she was definitely stronger than 2024.
Yeah. So, gotta give her props, Daniel Brandon. Daniel Brandon, I want you to be in the top 3 on the final day.
She's
You
like, "Blake,
deserve
okay,
a
calm down."
podium one.
She does. It's
She
time, Danny.
does.
You gotta step
It
up. You can do this.
No, for the top spots for the women, the top 2 were already locked in, like, Tia was getting
Yep.
1st, Lucy Campbell was getting 2nd, who was getting the 3rd? And I was like, "Ariel, you were supposed to
The
get 3rd." But it was so awesome to see Olivia Kerstetter.
newbies.
She always obviously wanted it more, and she gave it her all to win that event and move up in standings because her time was 9 minutes. Like, she demolished it,
Ooh,
and I will say there are some events that Olivia looks at and she's like, "I'm gonna demolish that one," and she completely blows it out of the water, and that's what
wow.
got her 3rd place,
Boom.
that's what you do. So we know Jason got 1st for men, then it was James wait, no, then it was Ricky Garrard, right? He got 2nd,
Mhm. That's
and then
right.
it was James Sprague. Which when I saw them announce it, which was a weird announcement, like, they just announced it, usually they make you wait forever, and
Yep.
both Ricky and James were kinda like, they didn't look
Yeah.
happy to get it because I think they felt a little jaded in some things. But it's
Mhm.
hard because day 3 is not moving numbers day, and I think for
Yeah.
James, you kind of forget that, yes, you did really good on day 3. You didn't do enough on day 2, though. Ricky, I can see a little bit, especially dude, like, I don't care what happened. You earn your spot. You've been doing everything. Can you email me about lane 5, please? I know you don't listen to this podcast, but one day if you do, let me know about what happened on lane 5 because I feel like a
Yep.
lot of people were
Want to
not
know.
like, their pegs were not doing something on lane 5 as well, like, you were not the only one. But, yeah, we really want to know. Inquiring minds want to know what happened, Ricky,
I want to know.
okay? I did, I was like, "What happened? I wanna know what happened here."
Our little nosy selves.
Right? Tell us.
Yeah.
Please tell us. But it
We
is
need mo
like we can go into the top 5. So we had for men's, Jason is 1, Ricky is 2, James is 3, Dallin Pepper is 4th. Well deserved for Dallin. And 5th, Austin Hatfield. Very well deserved for you.
Mhm.
Jay Crouch is number 6. Justin Medeiros was 7th. Jeffrey Adler was 8th. Roman, 9th. And
Roman.
covering the 10th was Tudor Magna, which great job for him too because he did amazing work in day 3 as well. So, those men were up and down this leaderboard. Some of them, like, fought every bit to be in the top 10, which they all should be happy for being top 10 of the strongest men in the world,
Heck yeah.
right? In that sense. Do I believe Roman why isn't Roman in top 3? Yes, like, what's happening? I wish Justin would have been in top 3. I hope to see Tudor Magna and Dallin Pepper in the top next year as well, but that's a really good top 10 in my sense.
I think so. I'm pretty happy with those.
Yeah.
And Danny was only 4th, right? She wasn't that far off in top 3.
She wasn't, so she could email me and just be like, "Blake, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because what are you doing with your life?" Because yeah,
Your
when
life.
Tia
You know what? She has a weightlifting cup in 10 days, okay? Okay?
I could still lift heavier than her.
That's
I
what.
know, Danny.
That's what. And she could make s'more cookies like no other. Can you do that? I don't think so.
But for the
Not with that
women,
carb count.
Tia was number 1, Lucy 2, Olivia number 3, Danny number 4, Ariel Lowen number
Lowen.
5. Like, girl, come on. Maddie Sturt
Very close.
6, Miriam Von Rohr 7th, Amy Kringle 8th, Annika Greer 9th, and Alexis Rabdis 10th.
Raptors.
Okay, that was the other thing. I was waiting for Alexis Rabdis to
I
show
was too. I love
up.
her.
And I was like, Annika Greer. Oh, there was a dumbbell one where I was like, girl, don't drop that. Do they got the rule to not drop it? Because remember at WFP how she dropped the dumbbell and she had to pick it
Yeah.
back up. So I was like, girl, don't do it. Don't do it,
Don't do it.
girl.
Don't risk it.
um, but I was waiting for those two. They performed very well. They did. But I
Mhm.
was still like waiting for it and I was like, come on, Alexis. But I think a
Yeah,
good
girl. I was like,
great top 10, really retiring. So girls, let's see what happens next year. Um,
for real though? For real, for
I
real?
know she keeps saying it's very hard to retire, which I get that. I think for real. I think
Yeah.
she had to fight, I think, more
Oh,
this
man.
this games. Last year's games though, 2025 too, she had some mishaps. Like I
Yeah.
felt like, girl, retire. You don't
It's
want to
time.
get on the podium and be like, "Oh, I only made it by 10 points." Like retire.
Yeah.
Um But if you don't, then don't. Live your life, but are you gonna be happy if you get second? I don't see her being
Mm,
happy if she gets second, you know?
yeah.
But I will say, great job to CrossFit Oslo Krieger because they got it. I think it was the first time a
They did.
European team has won, or what they were saying, has ever won the affiliate cup.
Visual.
Dude. I really liked this games, Joycey. I really liked watching it. Can we bring back the old regionals and stuff so Blake can watch that? Because I don't like this new regional stuff or new things and an affiliate
No, no, no.
qualifying. Yeah. I like to watch them in groups, in group settings, and be like, hey, the top 5 get to do it, not the top 1. Like, no, I'm not going to watch like
Yeah.
30 people compete for only one available spot. I mean, y'all can do that. I feel so sad for everybody who's there to do it. So let's not do that to
True.
them again. And who wants to watch the N affiliate? You can only watch
I
it if they
mean,
post it on YouTube if the athlete does. So I'm like, that's lame. I got life.
yeah.
I have a life and I want CrossFit to hold these events.
Do it.
That's all I'm asking. It's not a lot. Which FYI, Cotton is going to see WFP in Mesa the weekend of my lifting thing. Cause I was like, I wanna go. Yeah. Joycey, I'm surprised that you guys didn't. Well, it's August. Your
Wait, is
August
it
has
the
been
last
busier than
weekend?
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, girl, I'm gonna be in California. But that would have been awesome.
But what you doing in California?
I have to go get my Mexican I guess it's considered like your Mexican social security card.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go get that and
Okay.
just bring it back, I guess, because I gotta go pick it up in person, which is ridiculous. But and then yeah, just make it a weekend and come back, I guess, on Labor Day.
Well, that'll be
So that
fun.
should be fun. And I was like, yeah. I just hate driving and traveling. I'm like, I need a break. I'm done. I'm like, I want to stay
I
in.
think it's because you've been traveling. This whole month, girl, you traveled.
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been really busy. Girl, yeah, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do
Mhm.
anything anymore. I just want
I
to be
don't
in my
blame
bed.
you. I wouldn't either. I want my own bed. I don't wanna drive anymore. I don't wanna do anything anymore but be relaxed. So I don't.
So wait, when you're done with this competition, when you get back, we're gonna just go crazy on eating and having a good time.
Well, that was a fun thing, and this was just, like, our take on the games. I know you guys have already probably watched the games, and if you haven't, go
Uh-huh.
on YouTube and watch them and get to know some of these athletes, because I feel like down the road, maybe we'll take some of them and deep dive into what made them go into CrossFit, what their numbers are, all kinds of stuff. Did they start as teens? When did they start? How old are they? Are they going into masters? All kinds of stuff. But if you haven't watched the games, go on YouTube, CrossFit Games 2025. They have all the other ones as well because CrossFit Games does have their own channel too. But if you feel like this podcast is your swig of pre workout, please follow and like so you don't miss a episode. You can also comment on our Spotify. You can DM us with an episode that you want us to talk about. If you hit a PR, if your friend hit a PR, if you go to an affiliate that you think is the bomb diggity and want to be on that segment, you can DM us as well on Instagram at Savagely Scaled. You can also email us if you're like, hey, Rept, you PR'd and I didn't want to call you out on your Instagram. Email us. If you want to be on the affiliate segment, email us. If you know of an affiliate that wants to be on it and they're too shy to ask us, email us. And that email is savagelyscaled, the number 1, at gmail.com. Again, that's savagelyscaled1 at gmail.com. and we would love to hear you. We would love to shout out all the PRs, everything that's going on. The last bit that I have is Kingman CrossFit is holding Barbell Mayhem. That is a competition
Whoop,
that
whoop.
Kingman CrossFit is hosting. I know Joyce is on a team. It is a same sex competition. The workouts just got released. I will be putting that into our show notes. So if you want to look at the workouts or if you want to sign up, go grab a partner. Again, that is same sex. We do have just for fun, scaled and RX for this. Again, if that's just you want to try a competition, we have that just for fun. If you're a little bit more and you can do all the things in the qualifying for scaled, bump up to scaled. Or if you're like, hey, I got this, do RX. Find a fun partner, get a cool name, and come watch me judge and dance at the same time while Joycey works out.
Which is usually the case in most days.
Yeah,
Most
that's
days.
just all the time.
I know.
But
Nice.
remember, don't be a Karen
Be a Sharon.
and keep sharing. It really, really helps, guys.
It
Until
does. We meet
at the whiteboard again.
whiteboard again.
Ah,
Ooh, that might be fun.
I mean,
I
we
feel
could
like
do